Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tech That Doesn't Byte Cast. I am Simon, and joining me, of course, is my co-host, Jeff Weirden.
Hello. How's it going, everyone? And you, Simon? How's it going for you, buddy?
I'm good. Hopefully everyone's doing okay.
I hope so too. God, not that I want them to respond. No, I do want them to respond. It's just awfully quiet out there, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, definitely. Big event this week. Definitely a big event.
Lots going on for sure. Lots going on
in the tech world. So thankfully, we are streaming this on a Saturday.
Yes.
So it should be quiet right now in the tech world. It should.
So we hope. Yeah. Maybe we'll see about that. Yeah. Right.
But it's the world we live in. Everything's a little bit different. So
true that.
Shall we get on to our first story of the day?
Rock on, buddy. Let's see what you got.
All right. So if you are a Amazon customer or someone that shops on Amazon quite often,
I'm one of them, Simon.
Yeah. And you might have been looking at something like for cheaper headphones, cheaper cables, a lot of brands.
Whatever I can get on bargain. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you might notice that some of the companies that you used to shop for, well, they might not be there anymore. And the reason why is because Amazon, this is a article from The Verge. Amazon says it's permanently banned 600 Chinese brands for review fraud. Wow. These Chinese companies knew what they were doing, a spokesperson says.
Wow. I'm absolutely shocked by that, Simon. Just shocked. Well,
so this actually
maybe not that shocked.
So this actually started back around July.
Oh, okay.
People were starting to notice. So here's the article. Remember when gadget vendors Aoki, Empower, RAV Power, Vava, Teltronics, Choltech, and started mysteriously disappearing from Amazon's online storefront? Just a little bit up front here. I have personally bought stuff from Aoki, Empower, and Teltronics. I even review some for this channel as well.
Right.
And they were never sent to me. Okay. Not like company didn't reach out to me.
Like some of these other people have been reaching out to us. No. God.
No, they did not about that. They did not reach out to me to do reviews. I bought them with my money to use. All right. So everything wasn't like sponsored.
Everything's above board as far as we're concerned. Yes.
So it started mysteriously disappearing from Amazon's online storefront. And it turned out Amazon had intentionally yanked them while vaguely gesturing to the sanctity of its users' reviews. Wait,
try that again.
Try that again. Yeah, it has a question mark. Amazon had intentionally yanked them while vaguely gesturing to the sanctity of its users' reviews. Turns out they were just the tip of the iceberg. Amazon has now permanently banned over 600 Chinese brands across 3,000 different seller accounts. Wow. The company confirms to The Verge. Amazon says that that's the grand tally after 5 months of its global crackdown, and it's no longer being shy about why. A spokesperson tells us 600 brands were banned for knowingly, repeatedly, and significantly violating Amazon's policies, especially the ones around review abuse.
Wow.
The South China Morning Post reported the numbers earlier, citing an interview with an Amazon Asia VP on state-owned television. Ooh. Amazon crackdowns began amidst reporting by the Wall Street Journal's Nicole Nguyen about how companies like RAV Power offer gift cards in exchange for reviews. You're not supposed to do that. That's against one of their policies.
Right. It's like bribing for reviews. That's never
exactly.
Cool.
And then they showed a tweet from Nick Nguyen that she tweeted. So I'm going to read her tweet. Following my fake review story, listings for Amazon native electronics brand RAV Power are gone. The company offered $35 gift cards for reviews on a product that was sold directly by Amazon itself. RAV Power acted as a wholesale vendor on that listing.
Huh.
And we're going to continue on with the Verge article now. I've been collecting cards. This author who wrote the article says, I've been collecting cards like this as well. Amazon banned the practice of incentivized reviews in 2016, but it's a tricky business. Some of these offers are disguised as a VIP testing program or an extended warranty. Other companies only offer incentives after you've left a bad review. They'll give you a free product or offer a refund of free money. No return required as long as you'll delete your negative review.
Oh, God. Geez.
So, it's not clear which other Chinese brands might be included in Amazon's latest crackdown, and it's quite possible some of their products will escape Amazon's net. Even though Aoki, one of the first high-profile companies to get banned in May, the company was still selling earbuds under a sub-brand as of July, and you can still buy a pair of them on Amazon today. I also found a Chotec wireless charging pad, a RAV Power battery. We've asked Amazon to explain its policy around ban dodging, and we'll let you know what we hear. Again, this from the Verge article.
Wow.
In early July, the parent company of Shenzhen
Yokeshu
Technology reported that Amazon had closed 340 of its YKS online stores and frozen over 20 million worth of its asset.
Wow.
The publication described YKS as one of the platform's largest Chinese retailers.
Dang.
Yeah. So, and then there's a Amazon statement. So it's
wow.
These brands were basically banned because they were trying to incentivize.
They're basically bribing for reviews.
Yeah.
Is what they're doing. They're bribing for reviews. Yeah,
exactly. It's pretty much a bribe. And if you have purchased one of these, an item from one of these brands, you might have seen it when you open it. It's like, hey, leave us a review, and you'll get a gift card like this, and you might have seen it. And I've seen plenty of those. I don't do it because I don't feel like writing a review. I don't like to write. So so I just like,
you should let me do it, man. I'm really verbose, man. I have the time of my life with these guys.
So like I just throw those little flyers ads away. I just throw them away because I don't feel like writing it, because
it's interesting that Aoki got mentioned because we've reviewed their webcams.
Yeah,
last year before or whatever.
Yeah, and, I mean, I think Aoki right now, like, they're not an Amazon, but they have their own online store.
Right.
So they must have used like Shopify or something to build their own e-commerce site now.
Probably.
So like stuff that we had reviewed for, the one that we purchased before, that's not on Amazon anymore. And I've seen like a lot of people were looking for that webcam.
Yeah, but no, here's the nutty part of the whole thing. I mean, I could appreciate. Well, no, let me back up a little bit. These Chinese companies are for all intents and purposes trying to get in, arguably defraud the consumer, regardless of where they're from. I mean, mostly Americans, I'd wager, but they're trying to defraud us of whatever money they can to whatever their products are, pass on whatever their percentage goes to the government. I mean, you can get really upscale, really kind of work your way up that way, but it would almost make more sense in a lot of ways to make essentially a quality product. I'm not saying that these Chinese products are necessarily bad. We've reviewed them and they were actually pretty good. I mean, I'm not knocking them necessarily.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, like, there's obviously it's not like premium products, but like
no. These are definitely budget stuff, and they're usually quality enough that they work for your purposes. And they sometimes usually they last, not always. But your mileage will vary. That's the best way I'll put that.
Yeah.
It would almost make more sense that if they actually put a little more effort and time into to make a fairly quality product that'll last, they could charge more money and actually get the positive reviews that way for putting out a quality product, as opposed to trying to go for as cheap as they can, steal your money and run like hell with it. And then, get banned through Amazon, which granted, they could just come back under a different name and they wouldn't know any different.
Well, I don't think they're stealing your money. I mean, it's more like like everyone should know, when they buy stuff, like there's a reason why this this particular item is going to be cheap. There's a reason.
Right.
It's not going to last long, and we as human beings, are well aware of that. Like, hey, this is gonna be this is cheaper.
Yeah,
it's not gonna last as long as the other premium product. The problem is that they shouldn't be incentive. I can't say now. I can't say that word.
Incentivizing.
There we go. They shouldn't be doing that just to get reviews. I feel like on a more natural, reviews are more of a natural instinct thing. Like, people will do it.
Yeah,
they'll do it on their own. You don't have to like force them or nag them. Like, hey, leave a review, leave a review. Like, I get that they're trying to be successful on Amazon, like kind of move up in the ranks so people could
Well, that's the whole reason.
That's the whole reason why they're trying to do that.
Right.
But
I would imagine part of the. I'd imagine part of the what's the word I'm looking for? The algorithm for ranking and whatnot probably helps with the search results. So the more reviews you have, the higher up the ladder you go, so your name pops up more often, so you get more business. I mean, exactly. It makes sense. They're gaming the system, essentially, is what they're trying to do.
Exactly,
and they're doing it by bribing people.
Yeah, that's the wrong way to approach it. It's more like it should be, natural discovery, and it's just like, okay, if you want people to review your products, then don't like, reach out to people on YouTube, like, see partnerships, do it like more the legal way of doing things, and just more like, rather than like have someone buy it and then you get like a card say, hey, please leave us a review, and then, hey, we'll give you this, because the minute you start telling someone to review something and you also get something in return, it's not a very genuine review, to be honest.
Right, but
because you're you're influenced by something.
Right, but here's the thing. From an algorithm standpoint, it almost doesn't matter what you write necessarily. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could say this is fine and literally give it a 5-star review. Yeah. This is fine, and that's literally all you put in. The 5 stars is what's being counted, not the content of your review.
I mean, we're assuming we know how it works.
We're making Amazon. Big assumptions. Well, no, that is entirely true. But mind you, algorithms are mathematical. 5 stars, 5 is a number. 4 stars is a number. And I would imagine what factors into it also, if you're also logged in as an actual Amazon customer that bought it. Because you can leave anonymous reviews, but if you log in, you're logged in. Hi, I'm Frank, and it shows that you in fact are Frank.
Yeah,
and I review.
I think you'll say verified purchaser,
right?
Or something
Verified purchaser, right, right. And so that just bumps it up that much more. This is fine, 5 stars, boom. Then you get your $35 or whatever. And that's it. That's what they're gaming the system, and it is wrong. But until Amazon is able to fix that somehow, which is all but impossible the way I kind of look at it, but I'd be curious to see what kind of efforts they would do to try to fix that. Good luck. It's going to keep happening. These 600 companies that got banned from there, honestly, they could just drop their name, change it to something else, and boom, there you go.
Problem solved. Could. I mean,
they totally do that. It's not. It's definitely a very large Band-Aid. We'd have to see how it goes. But I think, as we always say in our capitalist society, buyer beware, and do your homework on this stuff. Look this stuff up. Yeah, it's got some amazing reviews and whatnot. You know what? If you buy the damn thing, don't be afraid to return it if it's crap and get your money back, or try to get your money back. Or you know what? Just go through Amazon itself, and or go through the vendor directly. And if they're, and now granted, I don't know what the return policy are for Asian products versus those made here in the States. However, that might work out.
Through Amazon.
Well, no. I mean, just if you buy direct, that's my point.
I don't know either. I mean, you definitely have to read their return policies and stuff.
Exactly. Like generally speaking, and I'm speaking very broadly, within American companies, usually they want you to be happy and have repeat business. That's usually the thinking that most companies go with.
I mean, a lot of these Chinese branches have an American headquarters. So,
well, they may and they may not. I don't know. I really don't know. But if they do, then in theory, their reputation as a seller matters.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of these brands, like they have their own website and they have like these 3 to 5 shipping days. So I'm assuming that they have something around local in the States.
Well, they may have a wholesale shipper in town.
Because if you're buying internationally, it takes weeks.
Oh yeah, no. And that's a valid point. Yeah. That's a valid point. But if they're, if they're doing this kind of racket, their name as a manufacturer may not matter to them. They can just drop the name and become a new name. start all over again. Because they got a formula, they figured it out, so they go from there. Whereas American companies generally try not to drop a name and they come up with a new name. They will, they want their reputation to remain intact.
Yeah.
So they will make sure that the customer is happy enough that maybe they'll buy from again, or at least get a decent review or whatever it might be. They want the positive customer experience because they're here in the States. In China, they don't have to care about you. I mean, it's one way of looking at it. I mean, I may be way off on this. I may be way off on this, but if you have these companies that are doing, that are systematically bribing people for reviews, you know what? They're choosing not to play by the rules. It doesn't say much for their company just because they're choosing to game the system like that.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I rant over.
So, I expect less wireless earbuds in the Amazon territory. In Amazon,
right. Go from 4,000 reviews to 2, and there you go. It's.
I'm not talking about reviews. I'm talking about like the products itself.
The products themselves. That's true. That's true.
Cheaper wireless earbuds. You might won't see a lot of them anymore.
That's right. The average price might go from $30 to $50. Who knows?
That's okay. Yeah, a lot of those other products are gone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's move on to our next story.
All right. More on the California streaming there.
Yeah, we're gonna recap what Apple pretty much announced. Now, there's a lot of stuff, and we're just gonna give you like the cliff notes.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You say it's a lot. I'm like, okay, I'll take a nap. No,
you're taking a nap. Get out of here. You're fired.
I'm fired.
Say goodbye, Jeff. Kicking you out.
Jeff.
So
Bye, Jeff.
On Tuesday, September 14th, they announced a brand new iPhone 13, which looks relatively the same as last year's model. It's just the cameras are more on a different position now. On the iPhone 13, the Max, the Pro Max, no, they look exactly the same. They have some additional internal features, and I watched some of the keynote. I didn't watch all of it. Like, to be honest, these streaming keynotes are kind of boring.
No, Simon, I'm shocked by that.
Well, it's kind of boring because there's no audience reaction like how they would do it. Like, it wasn't a live event, so
good point.
It's freaking boring, all right?
Right? Yeah.
So
let's hear it for the iPhone 13.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So the iPhone 13, design change wise, like they have a smaller notch for the Face ID. They repositioned the rear cameras. The 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max, they have ProMotion displays, and it now goes up to a 1 terabyte storage.
Nice.
Yeah. And the iPhone 13 lineup, they all start now. The base model starts with a 128 gigabytes of storage. No more 64 gigs. That's gone.
Oh, wow. Okay. I could use something like that.
And the price starts at $699 for the iPhone 13. Okay. $699 if it's $699 on a special deal with your carrier. So you have to trade in, do other nonsense. If you're buying it directly from Apple Unlock, it starts at $729.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if Apple kind of highlight that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. Pretty much what they did like last year, kind of trick you, thinking it actually starts at $699, but it doesn't. Starts at $729.
That's not a big difference. $30 is not a big difference. I mean, my take is $30 is not a big difference.
Not a big difference, but I don't like how they're like, not.
I get it. Yeah, that's not cool. That's mildly misleading. I'll grant that. Yeah.
It's not mildly misleading. It's major misleading.
Okay.
So again, $699 if you're doing some sort of trade-in with the carrier. Not if you're buying it directly from Apple Unlocked. So be aware of that. Tricky Apple right there.
Again, buyer beware. See, there's a theme here.
So all the iPhone 13s were available for pre-order yesterday, and they have a release date of September 24th.
Cool. Oh, next week. Wow, very cool.
So the new lineup now, it's going to be you can now buy these type of iPhones. So I'm just going to explain this for you. So the iPhone SE, which is the iPhone SE2, which is the smallest iPhone they have, but it's relatively old.
All right.
And then you get to buy an iPhone 11, I think that starts at $499.
All right.
Okay. Then you could buy the iPhone 12. Last year's iPhone 12 or iPhone 12 mini starts at $599.
All right. All right.
Then the 13 will be $699
or $729, depending
or
on where you buy
$720.
it.
Exactly.
Depending on where you buy it from.
So that's their new lineup.
Hmm.
And
maybe that $30 difference will actually go to a gift card if you give a positive review for it. Oh, did I just go there? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, they don't need to give gift cards to get positive reviews. It's Apple.
Well, matter of opinion, but yes, you're right about that. They don't need to do that.
So
You're
the
right.
only iPhone with a 1 terabyte storage option is the 13 Pro, which makes sense. If you're a pro user, you do get it fits well with the 1 terabyte storage. The iPhone 13 is more for like regular consumers.
Okay.
Because it has a 2-camera system, whereas the Pro Max has 3-camera system. So that's more for like people who really want to take good pictures and videos.
Right on.
So they improved the battery, again, smaller notch, added more 5G support on US models.
Oh, good,
so,
good.
Yeah. It's great they're adding support. Now the carriers need to actually implement this nonsense.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. When is another matter, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's happening very slowly, in my opinion.
Well, that's on the carriers, but yeah, I get it. I get it.
So that's the iPhone 13. Then
Nice.
You see there's not a huge change.
Doesn't seem like it. No, it doesn't seem like it.
So new Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch Series 7. It basically has a larger screen.
Okay.
Basically, the larger screen allows you to actually like more easier to type on it. So you actually type on the screen itself, send messages and things like that. Right. I believe it also has an oxygen O2 levels that it could read now.
Oh, good. So if you have COVID, it'll tell you, or at least you'll know in an indirect way.
I don't know. I mean.
What are my oxygen levels? I'm COVIDing. Oh yeah, there you go. It's really low. I need to get to a hospital.
So it starts at $399. They're still selling, the Apple Watch SE, which is like a smaller edition, I think, for a lower price. And I don't know why Apple's still selling the Apple Watch Series 3. That thing is really old. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like they're using that as their starting point. Yeah, so it's like,
is it a really good series watch? I mean, I don't know.
It's old.
It's old or not. If it's really good, it's worth the money. But that's my
probably not that. It's not going to be great on the new OS. I know that for sure.
Well, that might be a problem. I will grant that. Yeah, it may not be new OS compatible. You're right about that. But
so I don't know why I mean, it will be smarter if they put the Apple Watch SE as the beginning.
Okay.
The entry point.
Right.
No,
right. But you're obviously not on their marketing team, so that's why.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know who's on their marketing team, but they should really rethink that.
I'm
be honest,
to agree. I'm
it's
inclined
dumb,
to agree. Yeah. Well.
All right. So that's the Apple Watch.
Nice.
It's cool. No.
Had to change much. Still a watch. He still tells you.
I mean, I have an Apple Watch. I have the Series 4, and I don't see the appeal to upgrade to a Series 7 at all.
Yeah, I mean,
not for whatever they have. I mean, like my watch still works. So
right, yeah, it still tells you the time. It still runs the apps. You get your software upgrades. What's the point? I mean, and that's one thing I never really get about, at least with Apple. I'm not saying that Samsung or Android doesn't do this too, but they come out with a new model essentially like every year, every other year. Like it just feels like they're always pumping out new ones. And I'm like, dude, I mean, is it really that revolutionary a difference between, say, like the 12 and the 13, just to throw out an example? Is there a big revolutionary difference between the Apple Watch 7 and the 6? I mean, really? I mean, even you're noting that with the 4 and the 7, you're not seeing that much of a difference. I would imagine there is. So, I don't know, but
a bigger screen. That's about it.
Whoop-de-doo-dah.
Yeah,
so
I'm not
obviously you've gotten older, you can't see as well. I need a bigger screen, and you get the 7, but still, it's like, what's revolutionary about it? I mean, a bigger screen, great. what's revolutionary that would say, yes, you want this? It's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you don't own one, then yeah, a 7 would make sense because it'll last forever because you've got your Ford. You've had it for quite a few years.
I wouldn't say last forever. Last a couple years. Okay.
Okay. Well, see. Well, okay. Maybe that's part of the problem is that they need to make them last longer. I don't know.
I'm not saying hardware doesn't last long. It's just software support. That's the difference. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You keep upgrading the software. Yeah. Eventually the hardware doesn't work anymore. That's a good point.
So it's so that's the Apple Watch. But let's move on. I think their biggest. Well, we'll move on. I'm moving to the next product, and then we'll talk. I think their biggest, newest review of the product. So they also upgraded the iPad, the starting base iPad, the one that starts at $329. It's the old iPad, but what they put in it is a A13 processor. Last year was A12. That's the one I have. And now they have True Tone display. Darn it. And they actually added, remember that the iPad Pro, we talked about how they had their front facing camera have a center stage where it moves along with you wherever you go. Do you remember that, Jeff?
No, I don't, but I'll take your word for it. But go on, please.
Yeah. So Jeff is old, so you can't remember a lot of things. So
thanks.
So the front facing camera on the iPad Pro, they have this thing called center stage where it basically moves along with you wherever you go. So like, let's say you're recording, you're moving a lot, and it kind of like,
that feature. Okay, now I remember that. Basically, it's kind of like camera vibration stillness or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's really and that's now been implemented on the low end iPad.
Right.
So it really helps for people that are remote learning and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. And
so you could use it to track Bigfoot better when it walks away. Kidding. Go on. Center stage on Bigfoot. He's walking away. No. See, it's not bouncing around so much. He's just walking. Never mind.
Yeah. Whatever, Jeff. Whatever. Good try. But I think that the highlight of the event, besides the iPhone, is the new iPad Mini 6.
Okay.
So this thing has not been updated in years. So the last update they did was a processor update.
Okay.
But the design looks exactly the same. And here's what it looks like. So it's more in tune with the Pro versions or the current Air.
All right.
And let's take a look.
The magic of iPad in the palm of your hand.
So let's look at the specs. So the capacity starts at 64 gig. Now this starts at $499. Okay. And I think the screen is about 8.3. It's an 8.3 inch display.
Right.
Yep. Liquid display.
Nice. About the size of a sheet of paper.
Yep.
Well, sort of, yeah. The top.
And it has the new A15.
Ooh,
so it's actually technically faster than the iPad Pro.
Right.
Yeah. And the iPad Air. And it also has a 12 megapixel camera. The front facing camera, I believe, also has a center stage feature as well. And then you got video recording.
Right on.
No, this thing can record up to 4K.
Nice.
Yeah. See. Yep. FaceTime. Yep. Has that center stage thing. I know it definitely has that. So
cinematics video stabilization. Very nice.
Yep. Video calling. It also has 5G capabilities.
Oh, very cool.
Yep. So it's a newly designed iPad Mini. So if you have the old one, and you've been waiting to upgrade this, you're basically gonna get a iPad. I want to say iPad Pro, a little mixture in between the Pro and the Air.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good upgrade for
but in a smaller size.
It'd be a good upgrade, good tech upgrade for sure.
So it starts at $499, the 64 gig storage. They actually upped that, to be honest, because for a while now, the low end ones, they've been selling it with 32 gigs.
Aye, that's not
starting.
Right.
It's like, for me, okay, 64 gigs, all right. I mean, for an iPad, if you're just using it at home, that's all you really need.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wish it would start at 128. Like how the
Well,
iPhone.
yeah.
But
Well, you can get that. It looks like
yeah, that's the higher end.
the higher
If
end
you
of like
want to pay a little
256.
bit more, yeah.
So I assume the middle one you can get the 128. So
Yeah,
hey,
so
that was
that's
really good.
in terms of product announcement. That's pretty much those are the big stuff. Everything else was software. I didn't really watch it. I was like, okay, I'll play around with it, but
Right
you
on.
know,
Right
I'm
on.
not saying like this event was like. It's more like, nah,
There's
But
no crowd energy. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
there's
get
just no
that.
crowdology, but I feel like there will be something else in a couple months. There's gonna be probably another one,
Cool.
another event, but this probably is gonna be more geared towards next generation of MacBook M series laptops.
Nice.
So
All right. Well,
I'm more excited about that
all right.
than
Well,
like
who wouldn't be,
yeah,
right? Right. Sometimes you always need a new computer, new phone, whatever. Yeah, you don't always need that often, but laptops, yeah, I'm inclined to go with that because those get used and abused
yeah.
like all the time. That
No.
makes sense.
And there's a rumor of a newer Mac Mini.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
So it's
Neato.
just like yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And the one thing that they didn't announce is new AirPods, their wireless earbuds.
Hmm.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't announce that,
Yeah, maybe they didn't make it on time. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably
Assuming they're
next
still
event.
developing them. Why? I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't.
There's these bunch of like unverified leaks of here's the new AirPods,
We'll tell you about it in a few years. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, no, I get it.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys had like a iPhone 12, don't really need to upgrade to iPhone 13. I would say just wait till next year, because I think 14.
When the 14 comes out,
I think 14 will be a little bit more radically different.
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
hope so. Let's certainly hope so. Very cool. Very cool.
Let's
Yeah,
hope
no,
so.
it does. Like I said, if they upgrade their products every year, it just seems like they're really not being revolutionary and very innovative and stuff. It's just like little smaller upgrades. Like, hey, now it actually does this. Great. Well, yeah, okay, great. You've doubled my storage capacity.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's
Yeah, you
dazzling
doubled
with
my
something
storage
else.
capacity. No, I paid more for that last year, but you cheapened it
right.
this year. So thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that's exactly
Thank
it.
you.
I'm not saying anything like revolutionary about it, but I guess it's revolutionary if you have a product and you hold on to it for a while. And I'll say like your Apple Watch 3, just as an example.
4.
You've got the 4, my bad.
Yeah.
So you have the 4, now you've got the 7. Is there a big difference between the two? You're saying virtually no, except for a bigger screen.
Well, bigger screen, faster processors, more speed,
Faster processor.
and
So it's a
other
little faster.
features that the 4 won't have, but not the features I could survive without them.
Right,
So,
right. And that's a big deal. I mean, do you have is it an upgrade with features that, oh yeah, I would absolutely love to have those, but whatever. Laptops, yeah, you just want something faster with more memory, and that pretty much is usually what you want your laptop to be for. And hey, if it's got better technology for networking, even better. That's kind of where I see laptops. Yeah, and the iPads, I mean, they're cool devices. I'm not even gonna lie, they are super cool devices. And the mini sounds really good. I'm even mildly excited about that just based on what you've been telling me about it. But yeah, all the other stuff, I'm like, you know what? It's just not a big leap. That's just my take on it. So based on what you've told me,
I agree.
Just,
it's not a big leap this year.
Yeah,
Perhaps
this
next year.
Maybe. Meh.
But
we'll see.
Hey man,
We'll
on the
see.
bright side, our AirTag got the firmware update.
Yeah.
The next
yes.
finally. We can celebrate that. Finally,
Oh
right?
my God.
Jeez.
Dang.
Fix this,
took
Apple.
forever.
Just let us hit the button that says update now. All right.
God.
I don't want to
geez,
wait for you to do it for me. All right.
God, get a better server that'll do it. Holy crap, guys. Jiminy Christmas.
All right. Let's move on
All
to the next story. And the next story, Jeff,
The next story is
about
all
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is not a benevolent entity as far as I'm concerned, and you shouldn't think so either. Please remember that when you use Facebook, frankly, you are the product, not them. So, according to now, this
Or
obviously
Google.
came out of or Google, right?
Yeah.
That too. All right, so this is a BBC article. According to the Wall Street Journal, as it reports, its studies show that teenagers blamed Instagram for increased levels of anxiety and depression. And these findings have not been disputed by Facebook. That was a happy thought, right? So, right, yeah. And a set of presentation slides, I guess, in regards to how the Wall Street Journal did this. In 2019, Facebook made body image issues worse for teenage girls. Teens blamed Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, for increased levels of anxiety and depression. In 2020, teenage girls felt bad about their bodies. 32% of them said Instagram made them feel worse. And the last point I'll make on these, yeah, the last point I'm going to make on this, Instagram was even traced in a small percentage of both UK and US users with a desire to kill themselves.
Jeez.
Yay, right? God, it's wonderful. All right, so now Instagram has done its own studies over some years, including focus groups, online surveys, and diary studies. They also conducted a massive amount of research on some tens of thousands of people, pairing their responses with the amount of time spent on Instagram and what was viewed, which is not a bad way to look at it, because if you're always on Instagram, you're probably going to have a very different viewpoint than somebody who just kind of cursorily looks at it every once in a while, like I do. I don't go on it that often. So, thus, their defense to what the Wall Street Journal reported was focused, quote, on a limited set of findings and cast them in a negative light, end quote. But they stated that the issue was far more complex. Now, Instagram had a blog post that continued with a couple of quotes here. We've done extensive work around bullying, suicide, self-injury, and eating disorders to help make Instagram a safe and supportive place for everyone. Now, their other quote was, based on our research and feedback from experts, we've developed features so people can protect themselves from bullying. We've given everyone the option to hide like accounts, and we've continued to connect people who may be struggling with local support organizations. Yeah. So Instagram says that they're also working on prompts to encourage people from repeatedly dwelling on negative subjects to go and look at different topics. So basically, there's one part they're simply saying, "Oh, you really shouldn't stop looking at this stuff. Why don't you go look at something else? Maybe some cat videos or something like that." Yeah, don't mind that the cat videos happen to be of women dressed up as cats and looking really sexy or whatever, which makes you feel worse because they're more attractive than you are. Whatever about that, right? And let's also keep in mind that this is the same group they're trying to create and market Instagram for kids, right?
Ugh.
Right? I mean, oh my God, you guys, it's awful. So Instagram/Facebook were railed against by the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children and United Kingdom parliamentary committees. They essentially claim that instead of acting to use this data to help make their sites more safe, they, quote, obstructed researchers, regulators, and government and ran a public relations and lobbying campaign in an attempt to prove the opposite, end quote. Now, Dr. Jonathan Haidt, Haidt, I apologize if I didn't say the name right, who is a social psychologist at New York University's Stern School of Business, says he had met with Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook CEO, to discuss the social network's effect on mental health. Now, according to the good doctor, Zuckerberg felt the research was ambiguous and didn't cause harm. However, obviously, the above mentioned research findings suggest the opposite, and that nothing will change as a result to that. Because frankly, their business model is to encourage children and adults to post photos of themselves to be judged by others, including strangers from around the world. I mean, honestly, how do you fix that? Right? I'm like, oh God, you
Yeah.
guys. So yeah, this was interesting. So let's all please just keep in mind as the opinion of this guy here. Facebook and Instagram don't give a rat's fanny about you. Just don't even kid yourself about that. Please, if anything, keep your children off it. God, Jiminy Christmas. Especially if you have a daughter. And again, that's a sexist comment to make on my part. I admit that. But obviously, with the way that women and girls are treated in our society, that should hardly be a surprising comment to say. But arguably, you could also say, look, you can look at this stuff, but as a parent, you should be there for your child, regardless of gender, to watch what they're doing. But if you're not, or if you're participating at some level of these ridiculous beauty standards, obviously you're part of the problem too in that regard. So I mean, there's a lot of that's a whole other discussion. That goes outside the scope of this particular show, but it's definitely, I think, something you should discuss with your daughter and your son. But you should also discuss it with your daughter and try to do right by them, as I would say. So
I think my advice for everyone is, don't let social media run your life. Simple.
yeah,
You know.
don't use it. Solve the problem. Done.
Yeah, or that. If you don't
Just
have
don't
the
use
need
it.
for it, don't use it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really. Or I mean, if you're someone that just can't control themselves, how you always have to take a picture everywhere and post it.
I got friends like that.
Yeah, I mean, just try to stop yourself, because when you get hooked on it, it's really hooked, and
Yeah,
it's hard.
no,
It's really hard to break that habit.
yeah,
And you got to remember, I think, like, the more people do it, they might tend to forget that, like, oh wait, I'm sharing my life with other people who I don't even know.
right,
So you got to remember that.
yeah,
And it's hard to remember that, because you don't know who
yeah,
are following you. You don't always look at your following list every single time, or your notifications.
yeah.
So it's you got to be self-aware about these situations. It's like basically like how you would on a when you're living your life and interacting with people.
Right.
Sometimes you have to watch your surroundings.
Yeah.
It's the
No.
exact same thing in social media. You have to watch your internet surroundings.
Yeah. No, that's entirely true. And I think Lady Gaga put it best on, I forgot what the late night show she had said this. She had said, quote, "The internet is a toilet," end quote. And the context was really more of like her fake relationship with Bradley Cooper and herself from A Star Is Born, that whole remake movie, whatnot.
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
I don't care.
My point being, the internet is a toilet. She's right about that, and it covers a lot of things, especially beyond her fame. It covers a lot of things. People are awful on the internet. You don't see a lot of kindness necessarily out there, but there are a lot of people who are very awful on the internet. So you need to be aware of that. You need to be, just kind of in touch with that. Or if anything, please, parents, talk with your children. Okay, talk with them, please. Get the hell off your own phone. Adults.
Don't let social media run your life.
Yeah, exactly.
You
exactly. You run it. Exactly. All right.
Let's move on to the
next story here, which arguably is well, not as depressing. It's just, oh my God. Okay. So you may recall last week about how El Salvador had Bitcoin Day on September 7th. They had Bitcoin Day, like a new holiday had emerged and something else. Okay. So now, if you're looking at the article on the screen here, you'll see that Bitcoin protests in El Salvador against the cryptocurrency as legal tender here. So, as the old saying goes, it can always be said that there are two sides to every coin, including virtual Bitcoin. El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, says that the cryptocurrency will help Salvadorians working abroad to send money back home. The demonstrators fear it will bring instability and inflation to the impoverished Latin American country. Now, along with setting fire to the new Bitcoin exchange machines and chanting that the president, and chanting that the president is a dictator, demonstrators gathered at the capital, San Salvador, on the country's 200th anniversary of the country's independence, holding up signs that said "No to Bitcoin" and "Respect the Constitution." That sounded really familiar to some other countries we know, don't we? Anyways. Protesters further accused the president of using authoritarian means to tighten his grip on power. This was noted because Mr. Bukele, who recently appointed new judges that were favorable to his political party back in May, have cleared him to run for a second consecutive term, contrary to what their constitution allows. That first part sounds really familiar to this country too, doesn't it? Interesting. Anyways, Mr. Bukele still does enjoy strong support in El Salvador, with a recent newspaper poll showing about 85.7% of the people approve of the president. So maybe this isn't so bad. Who knows? I am not an El Salvadorian, so I can't say. Now, my last comment about this, the value of Bitcoin is currently as I checked a couple hours ago, is currently at $48,151 versus end of day trading on September 8th, which capped it at $46,270. So at the end of Bitcoin Day, that's where it actually landed. But remember, it opened that day at $52,500. $350. So they're still a little underwater right now with that $30 of Bitcoin they purchased when they got the Chivo wallet and all that. So they're still got to work their way up. But maybe something will change in a couple of months. Maybe it'll bring it back up. Who knows? But we'll have to see about that. It's yeah. So yeah, set fire to the Bitcoin machines and tell the president he's a dictator. And just happy 200th anniversary.
Well, Bitcoin.
It's gnarly out there. Yeah, I'm still floored that they actually did this. It'd be interesting if like all the countries went to Bitcoin or actually had that as an available option as an official currency of some sort. I mean, I can only imagine the fluctuations of that would be completely insane. I think eventually it would stabilize, but the problem is goods and services cost different money everywhere. Even over in Europe, when you actually had euros, if you were trekking, say, between Italy or Spain or Portugal or whatever, the value of the euro changes from country to country. So there's not even, so even in a smaller setting, you don't have that stability of the value of what the euro should be across all boards there.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on where you are, the euro has different values. So adding Bitcoin, as volatile as it is, really isn't going to improve the situation that much.
Nah, that's true.
That's my take on it. Granted, it went up $2,000, from one week to the next. Doesn't mean it isn't going to plummet $6 next week. You just don't know. Oh my God, that's crazy. So yeah, I'll keep you posted about how Bitcoin's doing over the next coming weeks. We'll see how things are going.
Yeah, I think AMC, they recently mentioned which Bitcoin they'll be accepting.
Which Bitcoin? Oh, that's right. They were going to use a different, like Ethereum or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, they just announced a few more that they'll be taking for buying movie tickets and popcorn. So
right. Yeah. I think I recall hearing about that, and yeah,
we'll see how that works.
Yeah, that'll work for you.
I just want a soda.
Well, that'll be X number Bitcoin. Oh no, you gotta change that number to something else Bitcoin. No,
it's like here's my cash. All right,
exactly.
Here's the good old
American dollars. Yeah. We don't take that anymore. No. Oh my God, we're screwed.
All right, let's move on to our next story.
All right, last story that I've got here. This is a nice little upbeat story, if you will, in a matter of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, PlayStation 5, PS5, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the main reason why PS5s have been difficult to find, if you don't already know this, chip shortages, right? Yep. So, and that's really the long and short of it. I'm not even going to go into great detail about what this article covered and so forth.
And people that flipped them.
What's that?
And people that flipped them.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. Get him and then flip him.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, that's what's so crazy about it. Anyways, the reason I'm even bringing this up, because those of you who are eager to get a PS5, by God, I'm going to try to point you in the right direction of where you can get them. Okay, so now let's say where can you get a PS5? You can get it from the PlayStation Direct store. They usually have drops between 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, during the middle of the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they run about $500 a pop. So, right? It's a lot. No, it gets better, Simon. Let me tell you, it gets better. All right.
Does it? It's gonna get better.
You will see, my friend. You will see. Okay, so if you're gonna pony up $500, which is probably a fair price for it, go to PlayStation Direct. If they don't have any in stock, you probably can wait on Tuesday or whatever, and just be very vigilant about what's going on there. All right. Now, Amazon, always a good place. However, at the time of this report, they were out of stock and no price was given. So I have no idea what Amazon's charging to get you a PlayStation.
All right. Who did a review fraud on it for them?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe for $35. Yeah, baby. All right. So that kind of out. But, if you're looking at Amazon, that's one place you can look. Now, Best Buy was sold out as well, but they run about $400 a pop. So that, based on all the ones I found, that's the cheapest one you can find. Was about $400. Oh, okay, that's nice. Now, Walmart, not one to turn away money, sells them for $875. And they get them through. I know, is that crazy? They get them through a third party though, but Walmart does the fulfillment on that. So when this other company has it, they get these things and they send them and they charge you up the yin yang for.
So it's not at a Walmart retail store. I'm assuming it's more a Walmart online's website that has resellers.
Right, exactly. That's what I thought. I went to the website. That's what I found. I'm like, oh, they go through a third party. Good to know. And that's probably why they charge you all that fun money. Now, GameStop, of all places, will gladly sell you a pre-owned PS5, which I was surprised that they're even out there. I'm like, if you got one, why the hell aren't you keeping it? A pre-owned PS5 for between $360 to $460, provided they had any in stock. But that's another place you can look. Now, here's the best one, Simon. You're going to love this. All right. So if you are feeling like a fool and want to be parted with a lot of your money really badly, you can go and barter and bid for one on eBay. So you may be able to
risk.
Oh God, you have no idea, Simon. Okay, so you may be able to find one for as low as $420 with 6 days to go on the bid. So somebody literally had just posted this, the one I found, had just posted it that day and was selling for $420. Now, this is versus the buy it now option for another bid that I saw for a whopping $2,000.
Like,
but you know what?
I think clearly the ones that are on eBay, these are the people that waited in line when it first released.
Oh yeah,
no intention to playing with it in terms of just flipping it for profit.
Right, and God bless them, they were smart to do that. But you know what? What's really cool about the $2,000
I know.
right? I mean, welcome to capitalism. It's how you play. But you know what's cool about that $2,000 one? It has free shipping. How freaking cool is that, right? Right?
Now, does that include any games or nothing? Just the console itself?
I didn't look into it too carefully. I would presume it's just the console and a controller. I'm just making the assumption there. I didn't actually look at the details. I just said sort by highest price and say, hey, $2,000. Like, hell yeah. Oh my God. Now there are a bunch of others that were on there. They ran between $1,500 to $1,600 and we're looking for a best offer. And I would imagine with supply and demand, they probably could get the money they want out of that. But even if they sold it for $1,000, we're still making a pretty hefty profit of, $500-$600, arguably. Now, at the time of this reporting, there were 486 search results for PS5 digital consoles that were up for bid. So there are a lot of capitalists out there who are banking on this, and arguably still are. They probably go and they manage to buy one or two or three or whatever, and they go sell the extras on eBay if they want to keep their own, and they make their money back on their PS5s, buy games with it, have a great time. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to capitalism. Please enjoy your stay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You'll be able to get a PS5 when Sony announces the PS6.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Wait for the upgrade. You'll have a good time with that one too.
Yeah. So good luck, everyone, trying to get your PS5s.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
All right. So here's our final story of the day. And it's gonna be a funny one.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we all been to the world of Disney before. Different lands, different theme parks. One thing that we all hate are lines.
Oh, okay. God, yes. Boy, I can tell you about that. Ugh.
So here's an article from The Verge. Florida man used Disney employee iPad to magically skip lines.
Ooh. Yeah. That doesn't sound very Florida man in and of itself. I think that he'd be Florida man's usually not a bright guy. So I'm curious to hear how this one worked out. So lay it on me. What do you got there?
There are tons of books and blogs telling you how to have a magical Disney World experience, but one Florida man discovered the ultimate travel hack using an app that lets you skip lines running on a possibly stolen employee iPad.
Nice.
Now, according to Central Florida's WESH2 News, 30-year-old this person. I'm not gonna.
I'm not even looking at it. Let me see what his name is. His name is Renan Carletto.
Yeah. Allegedly did just that in June by giving himself and a group traveling through the park with him an unauthorized jump to the front of the line.
Nice.
Now, according to a WPTV report, Carletto was leading an unauthorized tour of Hollywood Studios, which is Disney World's park, and using the iPad to skip lines for the park's rides by making reservation overrides.
Wow.
One Disney World fan site theorized that he may have been taking advantage of Disney's systems that lets people with disabilities reserve certain times for a ride so they don't have to wait in the line. This was seemingly agreed with a quote reported by the WDW News Today, which classified the app as a private app for qualifying guests that's only installed on devices owned by Disney World.
Nice.
However, Carletto was pulling it off. It seems like it was both easier and better than the confusing Fast Pass, Max Pass reservation
Oh,
system.
God, that is
Which
such a
is-
disaster. Oh,
Yep.
Jesus.
Of course, as with every travel hack, there were a few minor trade-offs and inconveniences. Carletto ended up having to give the iPad back to a Disney investigator and was issued a warning by
Ooh.
Disney for trespassing.
You better not do that again, you little commie.
He
Sorry.
reportedly told authorities that he didn't know it was stolen, though apparently
Oh.
wasn't ever reported as such. Yeah, so I mean, he must have had fun for a while. So
obviously he did. That is an absolute riot in and of itself. So that's a kick. That's
don't
an
know how he
absolute
got
kick.
it though. Don't know how he got the iPad.
Well, if it was never reported stolen, then it would mean that he either got it from the guy that killed him, so he couldn't report it, or maybe he was a buddy of his who just gave it to him after he quit or whatever, and he said he lost it, took the hit on the iPad or
Probably
whatever.
bought it from like some unknown person. You know?
Well, maybe.
I mean, it's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
say. I mean, it's hard to say how that missing iPad ended up with this person.
Right. I mean,
No.
the real
And
trick is
how was this person able to access the iPad? I mean, like the fact that it wasn't password protected. It's like what the hell, you know?
It's
Disney,
a little suspect. I'm with you on that.
Because you can't just automatically install an app, like especially something that's not even on the App Store. You know, this is clearly, you know, a Apple iPad device that has like a business enrollment,
right?
That allows businesses to install, you know, custom apps that's not on the App Store.
Right. Okay, so let's think that through for a sec.
So
Okay,
the fact that the security on this iPad was lousy, right?
That's one way of looking at it. But I mean, let's make a couple of assumptions here. So we could say that, okay, so Disney buy this iPad, they install their own app to it, which they're allowed to do, obviously. So, and since that's an internal app, invariably, or they should be, they would have to have a password on it in order to get into it. That's
password or Touch ID,
Touch ID, whatever, maybe Face
ID.
Well, probably not a Face ID. It'd have to be a Touch ID. Maybe, if not Touch ID, it actually would have to be an actual password. Touch ID would be specific to whatever your fingerprint is. Obviously, Face ID to your face. I mean, unless you happen to be a twin to the guy who owned it previously that was a Disney employee. There's that.
That's such a big,
it's a big if. It's a big if. More than likely not. So let's use Occam's razor. Go for what is the likeliest thing, the simplest option. He got the iPad from some guy who was either disgruntled or he took it from him. The guy just never bothered to report it stolen. But somehow he was friends with the guy enough that he knew his password.
Yeah.
Or, God forbid, he actually did a lucky guess and nailed the password on the first or second try without resetting the device.
Or didn't even set a password.
Or didn't set a password, which would be the easier thing. But if Disney's IT guy issued it, it is unlikely that it would have been issued without a password. I'm not saying it wasn't
assuming is a good IT guy.
We're making some massive assumptions here, but we're making massive assumptions here. But I'm gonna give the benefit of that up to the IT guy that there in fact was a password on it. It was a stupid easy password, perhaps. The guy might have guessed it, or the employee who had that originally gave it to him.
Yeah.
Right. I think we can assume.
Or it could be an easy guess password, like, oh, the year Disney was open. Oh, okay. No, every Disney fan will know that.
Right. Well, no, that's a fair point. Could be something really easy to guess. Yeah. Or maybe it's just a bunch of zeros and the guy just never bothered to update the password because he was lazy about it. A lot of ways to go about it. So those are the simple assumptions. And Florida man manages to get this device. And I'm going to assume he was probably given the device. I don't think he stole it necessarily, but because it was reported stolen, I'm going to go on a limb and say, because if it had been, not so much to the police, but to Disney internal, in theory, the IT guy would have gotten the guy's ID and shut down his ID so the app would stop working. In theory. And then, reassign him a new password or whatever that needed to be done, give him a new iPad, charge him, $5,000 for losing the iPad, whatever. Take it out of your paltry paycheck, you little weasel. Whatever. Because that's how we do things here. It's whatever. But my point being is that from a security standpoint, chances are there were obviously some very low bar for security. Mm-hmm. The guy probably took it, He just happened to guess the password. He got it from the guy, and he went on a spree all over Walt Disney World and had a good time, jumping lines with all his buddies. Or, God forbid, maybe the employee was actually with him and helped him access it and did it that way.
Didn't say
which
anything
almost makes
about.
more sense. It almost makes more sense that way.
So,
yeah.
Well, you had your fun, but ultimately you got caught.
Oh,
so
good job, Florida man.
I mean, it's just astounding. Like, there's some sort. Obviously, we don't know all the details of how the iPad
we're probably
got
missing a bunch
missing.
of stuff.
So, like, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
this is the world we live in. You want to go to that theme park, you just got to wait in line.
Yeah, no,
there are no shortcuts.
Well, I beg to differ, but anyways,
there are no shortcuts for the average consumers.
Right. That is
you got to pay high price for that kind of treatment.
No, and even then, that's not even guaranteed too. I would almost push that in. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's a funny story because you and I being in IT and all that to a degree, you more so obviously. It's funny. This is a funny story, and it's an absolute riot that this even happened. But
yeah, it's just like
dang.
I'm like, how did and he only got a warning for trespassing. That's it. That's it. This dude was cutting lines.
Yeah, he's cutting lines, which isn't necessary. Well, it is a crime that will get you thrown out of the park if you're jumping.
Yeah, it's also using proprietary software.
That's true. Right, but
I mean, and he gets to slap it no trespassing. I'm like what? What?
Well, here's the dumb part. He probably paid for the ticket at the gate. It just finagled the system just so he could jump the lines, or at least pretend he's autistic or whatever and jump the line, and there you go. Which isn't much different that if you had brought a handicapped person with you and they set it up that way. It's just all he did was do it himself. That's literally almost the only difference there. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of details that need to be covered here, but it's fun to speculate on what actually happened.
What happened? How this person got the iPad in the first place? That's what I want.
That'd be the big one I'd want to know. All right, so who gave him the iPad and the password to it?
All right.
That is something else.
So that is the end of all our stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on Tech That Doesn't Byte Cast. My name is Jeff Warden, obviously here with Simon C., my co-host. Please like and subscribe to our videos. You can find them on YouTube. Come visit our website, techthatdoesn'tbyte.com, byte, B-Y-T-E, and all that good stuff. And please, we love you. Come visit us.
Yeah. And thank you for listening to us on your favorite podcasting app. If you get a chance to, please leave a review in there if you like. It will really help us, to know that, what you think of the show.
And no, we're not going to bribe you for that. We're not that kind of show.
We're not gonna do review frauds for now. No.
Sounds like fun, but we don't have the money for that. So too bad for you.
Yeah. But please stay tuned for next episodes. We're probably come back to streaming next week. No fixed time. Our schedule is always in flux. So
a little bit. It's probable that we might be doing it, if not Wednesday nights, maybe Saturday nights. Simon and I need to work that out, but we'll definitely keep you posted.
Yeah, but you can always watch the show after it's been streamed, and then you can watch the recording.
Absolutely. Got plenty of reviews, plenty of Bytecast episodes we've already aired before. Come to our website. You can learn more about us and how awesome we are. So please, click the notification buttons on YouTube and you'll know when we got a new show up.
Yep. So until next time, everybody, stay safe. Have a good weekend. Have a good day. We'll see everyone next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.